What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Real Life on the Wellspring podcast. This whole podcast is supposed to be about real life, real stuff that we experience. No masks, no pretending. Like, I kind of hate that stuff. And so this is just an opportunity for us to have a real conversation about things that we experience in real life, and how does our faith, how does this real life that we receive from Jesus lead us and move us through the world as we experience the realness of life. Because sometimes faith and following Christ and churchy stuff sometimes can feel a little manufactured or a little inauthentic. And so this is our opportunity to have a conversation about real life. And so I'm attempting to do one on my own solo podcast. I have no idea if my ADHD will allow me to do this. And so it might be a shorter one. And if it is, it's probably for a good reason. So we're just going to dive into it. One of the things that I want to talk about, or the thing I want to talk about today, is encouragement. I am someone who needs encouragement. I think if you're a breathing human, you need encouragement. It's good to be encouraged. And we're in a series at Wellspring. If you've attended any service in 2025, we've been in the book of Acts. And what we've seen week after week in story after story is believers strengthening and encouraging one another. And that's just what we do. As we look into the book of Acts together, we've seen, this is our story. This is us. This is how we started, and arguably how we should be. And so when we're looking in this story and we're looking in this book, and we see that, this is just what we do. We just strengthen and encourage one another. And we've seen some wild stuff in the book of Acts. There's dudes getting locked up. There's all kinds of wild stuff going on. But consistent through it is believers loving, encouraging, strengthening one another over and over and over again. And I don't know about you, sometimes I feel like that might be absent in maybe the church, or maybe it might be absent certainly in our culture. Like, you can get encouraged for certain things and discouraged really quickly for other things, but there's not a general, hey, I want to encourage and I want to strengthen you. I want to make that investment in you because we're in this together. It's one of the things that's unique and really special about the church that we've been learning and reading about in the book of Acts. And so when we're talking about encouragement, I'm someone who needs encouraged. Like I said, I think if you're a breathing human, you need to be encouraged. You enjoy encouragement. And one of the things that we've seen in the book of Acts is you could take a guy like Saul of Tarsus and see his story, where he's this Pharisee and a persecutor, and then he becomes, brother and friend after following Christ. And then after that, he's even a leader and a teacher in the church in Antioch, and then goes from Saul of Tarsus and starts going by Paul as he takes the gospel into the Roman Empire to the Gentiles. And this is a wild story, a lot of progression that you see in his life, lots of steps taken. But every single one of them, he did not take by himself. He was encouraged to take that step. He took it with someone else. And the same is true with my journey. And the same is true with yours as well. We don't take steps. We don't make progress by ourselves on our own. I don't live in a vacuum. I'm not a Christ follower on an island somewhere. The progress that I've made in my life, the steps that I've taken with someone else. Someone else has encouraged me to take these steps. And that's been my story. I guarantee you it's your story, and it's what we see in the scriptures. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a little bit of time and just talk about encouragement, because hopefully someone is encouraging you. Hopefully, wherever you're finding this podcast, however you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, hopefully it's going to be an encouragement to you. Right? Because that's what we do. But if we're going to have a real conversation about encouragement, it's man, where do I find it? Where do I find it? Because, there's some places that there's some places I can go for encouragement, but I don't know if I'm actually being instilled with courage. Does that make sense? So what encouragement means, what it literally means, is to be instilled or to be filled with courage. And so there's some things that I might go to, or some conversations I might have that I'm not actually being instilled with courage, but maybe it's something else, right? So when I'm thinking about courage or being encouraged, I think I receive it really from two places. One of those things is from other believers. And as soon as I say that, you might go, bro, you don't know the church people in my life, right? Like you don't know some of the believers in my life, some of the things I've been told by them. Bro, I'm in the same boat. Like there when there are we're not that great at encouraging other people. I have some people in my life that like, man, every time they call me, they're encouraging me somehow. They just have this thing in them to encourage people. And I think that's wild. I don't think I'm particularly good at encouraging other people. I wish I was better at it. I really do. I really wish I was better at encouraging other people. And maybe you know me and you'd be like, dude, you're really encouraging. I hope that's the case. But just personally, I feel like I know the people in my life who encourage me, and I'm not like them. I would love to be. But being encouraged by other believers is a source of where we find encouragement. Like that's where it should be, because that's what we do. When we see in the book of Acts, that's what we did. Every chapter, every story, we're encouraging and strengthening each other. And so hopefully you have people that you can do that with. I had the opportunity today. I'm going to use this example. I don't do this every day, but by no means, I'm about to share part of a story. By no means think that like, oh man, oh, Pastor Brian, he's just encouraging everybody everywhere he goes. Praise God and everything. I'm not. But I had a conversation today at the gym with someone. They just came up to me and they said, they started off like, hey, say prayer for me. Which is a great opening to having a conversation. If somebody comes up to you and goes, hey, will you pray for me? That doesn't happen every day either, right? Sometimes that's a way that you can encourage someone. You could just say, hey, can I pray with you for something? And you'll start a wild conversation. But they came to me and said, hey, I need a prayer about something. And I said, oh, well, what's going on? And they were just describing how they're at this point in their life where they feel like they have to make a decision about their career. They have to make some big life decisions. I have decisions that I need to make. And so I've just asked a couple questions to try to figure out like where they're at and what are these decisions and where's the pressure coming from to make these decisions, and ultimately they just shared a very common experience that I think all of us have. It's just that they feel stuck. And I'll tell you right now, like feeling stuck sucks. Like it's a terrible feeling. And that's kind of just where they were at. They're just, man, I just feel stuck and I feel like I need to make a choice. And sometimes God uses that stuck feeling to get you to make a choice. It's definitely an opportunity for you to make a choice. But in the conversation I was having with this person, I just felt the need to remind them and encourage them that they're okay. Like that where they are is okay, that God sees them, that he loves them, that there are lots of stories that we can look at in the Hebrew scriptures, in the New Testament even, where you had people who felt very stuck, that felt like, man, I don't know where I'm at. Something's got to happen, but this is just where things are. I feel stuck. I feel like things aren't moving. And every time, almost in every single one of those stories and situations, God is up to something. Like God is working and God is moving in ways that they don't perceive or understand yet. And so that's just one of the things that I just felt led to share with this person is like, hey, God is working and moving in ways that you just might not perceive yet. And that was a really cool opportunity to encourage that person. And you could just see them go, oh, I am okay. Like, I am okay. God does see me. I am loved by him. He hasn't forgotten me. And he's definitely at work. I've seen him at work in my life, and he's certainly at work now, maybe just in ways that I haven't perceived yet. And it was cool to just be able to encourage that person. Like that fueled me. That got me fired up. Like I was like, man, I'm feeling good. Like starting off with a win. Like it was nice. And we all need that. Like we all need encouragement. Like there should be people in your life that are encouraging you. Like there should be people in your life that you can encourage. This is what this thing was designed to do. It's a thing that set apart the church. The thing that set apart the church in the first century was their love and their courage. Like it's how they loved one another and how they encouraged one another. One of my favorite things that I've seen in the book of Acts is the fact that the most identifying factor, like the thing that identified people with Jesus, his followers with Jesus, was their courage. There's this awesome verse early on in Acts when the apostles are called in front of the Sanhedrin, the same crowd of people who accused, arrested, and crucified Jesus, right? Brought him to Pilate to be crucified. So the apostles are brought in front of the same group of people, and it says that when they saw their courage, they knew that they had been with Jesus, that they'd spent time with Jesus. It was their courage that identified them with Jesus. And the same is true for us, man. It's our courage that identifies us with Jesus. And sometimes you just need to be encouraged, or there's people in your life that need to be encouraged. And you know what the wild thing about encouragement is? It's free, man. It doesn't cost me anything to encourage someone. Think about that for a second, dude. It doesn't cost you anything to encourage someone. You just have to slow down enough to realize that there's other people around you that God is working and speaking to. I told you guys in our Acts series that you don't know who God is speaking to until you start speaking. And sometimes you got to slow down enough to realize, hey, there's people around me, right? And it's free to encourage someone. Hey, wow, that's wild. Like, it is free to encourage somebody. I literally just had that realization. I was like, it doesn't cost me anything to send a text message. It doesn't cost me anything to make a phone call and just to say, like, hey, man, I'm thinking about you and I believe in you. Like, and God loves you. That costs you $0. That's awesome. And the feeling that you get afterward is great. So even if you want to be selfish, here's a cool thing. Even if you want to be selfish, just for your own selfishness and your own dopamine drop, just call somebody and encourage them. Just send a text message to somebody and be like, hey, God loves you and believes in you and I'm praying for you. And you do that and then you'll feel great. Like, so even if it's just that, you go ahead and do that. That's my prescription. So go ahead and encourage somebody just based on that. So that's pretty neat. But besides encouraging people, or finding encouragement from other believers, another source of encouragement, obviously, if you're a Christ follower, is the scriptures. Like is what God has said to us. And there's all kinds of stories in the Old Testament and the Hebrew scriptures that can encourage you, that you can learn from. There's a million things that you can Google. Hey, what are the most encouraging verses? You probably have a Bible at home. And if you open it up, it has a list of scriptures to read, like when you're anxious or when you're disappointed or when you're XYZ. There's all kinds of resources out there. There's so many. There's so much content out there. But I wanted to share one verse with you that I find very encouraging for a couple reasons. So the verse is in the Gospel of John. It's in chapter number 16 and verse number 33. Jesus is speaking, and he says, in this world, you will have trouble. And you say, why? Why is that encouraging? Because in this world, I have trouble, right? So I identify with that because sometimes I feel like, am I the only one going through this stuff? Like a lot of times when you're disappointed or discouraged or whatever situation you're in, it's very easy to feel like you're isolated, or even worse, it's really easy to actually isolate yourself. And when you're isolated, it's like, man, I am the only one going through this. I am the only one that this has happened to, or whatever it is that you might be going through. There's plenty of times where I've had disappointments or I've been discouraged, and it's like just a loneliness that you feel in it. Like, man, I am like everyone else out here is, especially if you get on Instagram. Oh my gosh. And you might have found this podcast on Instagram, and I hope it's encouraging to you. But bro, all the fake just stuff on Instagram is, golly, it's disgusting. That is not anyone's real life. I promise you. Like, there are people that will just post not even their that highlight reel isn't even their highlight reel. They're just making it up, bro. Like, it's fake. Instagram is fake. If you found this podcast on Instagram, I'm trying to be as real as I can. Like, but what the heck? Oh, yeah. In this world, you will have trouble. That was my ADD moment. In this world, you will have trouble. It's nice to know that that's just a universal truth. Like, that I am not the only one that's had trouble. Like, I'm not the only one that feels anxious or discouraged or depressed or had things fall apart or things go wrong. Like, that is everybody. And of course, like, you say, well, duh, like, the sheer amount of people that are on like antidepressants, benzos, and all kinds of other stuff, like, of course people are having trouble. Like, dude, you watch the news? Of course there's trouble, right? But it's like, there's this weird thing where I can feel like I'm just all alone in it. So first, when I read that Jesus says, hey, in this world, you will have trouble. Great. I'm actually not alone in that. I'm not weird for being anxious. I'm not weird for being depressed. There's not something messed up about me because XYZ has fallen apart in my life. Like, in this world, you have trouble, right? But then Jesus says, but take heart, right? Have courage. Don't be afraid. Don't be dismayed. Like, these are phrases that we see in the Hebrew scriptures and in the New Testament all the time. Like, take heart, do not fear, don't be dismayed. Like, all these encouraging, like, stop where you are right now. Like, don't be afraid. Don't be dismayed. Take heart. Have courage. Why? Because Jesus says, I have overcome the world. And at face value, when you hear that, that might not go in your head, right? That might not be hallelujah music that you hear in a huge epiphany, right? But just take a moment and understand that Jesus says, in this world you'll have trouble, but take heart. Why? Because I've overcome the world. Like, to know that God shaped all of time and history, like all of it. That's what we believe as followers of Jesus. Like, I don't care the time frame or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. I believe that God created the whole world. He shaped all of time and history. And at the worst moment in history, like arguably, like the worst time to be alive, it's like first century Roman Empire in the Middle East. Like, nobody's going like, I would love to vacation there. That's my time to go hang out. Those are the good old days. Nobody says those are the good old days. It's the worst, arguably the worst time in history. God sent his son. Like, for this purpose, the Son of Man was made manifest to destroy the works of the devil. This is a moment that God steps into history. So Jesus steps into history at the worst time of history. After shaping all of time in history, he steps into this moment for me. He steps into this moment for you and experiences everything that you and I experience. Like, all the heartache that we experience, all the temptation that we experience, all the violence that we see and experience. Like, Jesus experienced all of that, had a full human experience at the worst time in history, after shaping all of it, steps into it for you and for me. And on top of that, experiences death itself willingly, lays down his life on a cross willingly, gives up his life, is tortured and murdered, killed, humiliated, and buried in a tomb, and comes back from the dead after 3 days, rises from the dead, overcomes death itself. Like, when I read, there's a verse in the Hebrew scriptures in the Psalms. It's God talking, and he says, I know your thoughts from afar. Like, I know what you think. I know your thoughts before you think them. I know your frame. Like, I know how you're designed. Like, I know you. And when we look at the person of Jesus, he experienced all the things that you and I experience. Like, he knows them. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, I know that about you. Like, he knows them by experience. He knows them. He knows all of that. He knows our thoughts before we think them. He knows our frame. He died a death for us and overcame death, overcame the grave. I can look to him for real life, for forgiveness, for example, all these things that we believe as Christians, we look to Jesus for. And when I'm sitting here in my real life, experiencing disappointment, experiencing anxiety, experiencing things falling apart, experiencing things not going how I want them to or thought they would, I'm experiencing trouble. Jesus says, take heart. I have overcome the world. And the same Jesus, when he's looking at his followers, says, I will never leave you, and I will never forsake you. Like, this is something that encourages me, that like I hold on to even in like the darkest moments when I'm having trouble. Like, there's been dark moments in my life, right? And there's been dark and scary moments in yours too. Like, you've experienced trouble. Like, in those moments, like, take heart, because we're having trouble. Take heart. Why? Because Jesus will save us and make all of our trouble go away. It's not what he says. Like, take heart because he'll make all whatever's making you sad, he'll fix it right now. Or whatever's making you angry, he'll fix it right now. Or whatever's broken in your life, he'll just fix it. Like, that's all you got to do. Just trust Jesus and everything will be fine and great and happy. Like, that's not what he says. He says, take heart because I've overcome the world. And so whatever you're experiencing in this moment, you can take heart because he has overcome it and he is with you in it. Like, right now, presently, in this moment, whatever circumstance you're in, whatever you're facing, whatever is disappointing you, whatever trouble you're facing, he has overcome it and he's with you in it right now. And so the idea that I'm alone in it, and you might have different fears or you might have different things. Like, man, one of the scariest things for me is that I'll be alone, that I'll be abandoned or I'll be rejected and it'll just be me and I'll be alone. Like, that's like a real moment for me. Like, that's a terrifying idea for me. So to know that, like, in this world I'll have trouble, I'm not alone in that. Everybody experiences that. But even in my trouble, I can be encouraged. I could have courage. I do not have to be afraid. I do not have to be dismayed, because the one who has overcome the world that I'm having trouble in the moment is with me in the trouble. Like, he's with me. Like, that's the whole narrative of the Old Testament, is that over and over and over again, God says, I will be with you. Like, in battles, there's a million stories coming to my mind. Over and over and over again, it was that God showed up and God was with them. And the amazing thing about Jesus is that he says, I'll be with you and I'll never leave you. It's not based on your behavior or your performance. You don't have to convince me to be here. You don't have to convince me to stay. You don't have to convince me to show up. I am with you and I'll never leave you. Like, that's the wild thing about grace. It's not that like, oh, well, it solves all your problems. You'll never have trouble. Follow Jesus, you'll never have trouble. You're having financial problems, just follow Jesus. You'll never have financial problems. You're having relationship problems, just follow Jesus. You'll never have relationship problems. You're having anxiety, depression issues, just follow Jesus. You'll never have anxiety and depression issues. That's BS. Like that's not true. In this world, we have trouble. Like grace isn't the fact that like, oh yeah, just since trust Jesus, you'll have grace and you'll never experience those things. Grace is as you experience those things, it never leaves. It never leaves. Like he never leaves. He's always there in whatever trouble or whatever circumstance you need. You need direction? Great. He's never left. He knows exactly where to go. Like you're feeling alone? That's fine. Guess what? He's never left. He never leaves. Like this situation is broken beyond repair. I'm sorry. It's hard, but he's never left. He never leaves. Like grace isn't that it fixes everything. Like you've screwed up, you've made mistakes. I just need Jesus to come in and just fix all of it. That's not the deal. It's not in this world you'll have trouble, but take heart. Jesus fixes everything. It's that he overcomes everything. It's that he'll never leave, ever. It's that grace never leaves. So no matter where you are, no matter what circumstance or situation you're in, like be encouraged. He never leaves. Like he's with you currently, presently, right now, in your situation, in your circumstance, in your trouble, in your fight, in your battle, in your disappointment, in your heartbreak. He's there. He's never left, not one time. Like always, permanently with you. He promised. So he says, take heart. Man, be encouraged. Have faith. You go, man, I'm struggling believing that. Same, dude. Like, man. But if I can just have like a little bit of belief, or if I can even remember a time when I had a little bit of belief, like, man, that will carry me through it. Why? Because he's overcome the world. Like, I'm having trouble. You might be having trouble. Be encouraged. Take heart. He has overcome the world. Like, that's something that encourages me. So hopefully some of that made sense. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it's just jargon to you or whatever. That'd be unfortunate, but I'm glad I took the opportunity to talk to you guys for a little bit. We'll post this on Spotify, maybe on Instagram, a handful of other places. Encourage somebody. It's free to do. It is free to encourage someone. That's wild. Like, just send somebody a phone call, send somebody a text message, and just encourage someone. It's what we do. We strengthen and we encourage other people. You say like, man, how do I live the Christian life? How do I know if I'm doing this? Like, that's an easy place to start, man. Like, how do I have spiritual conversations? How do I share the gospel with a friend? All that other stuff. Like, hey, start with strengthening and encouraging people. Start there. And I just have a suspicion that as you do that, it'll be wild, the conversations or the opportunities that you have to talk more, or to have more faith, or just to see God work in other people's lives. And plus, like I said before, it's free dopamine. So encourage somebody. Love you guys. Talk to you later. See you. Bye.